Hey everyone, have you ever been in a conversation and wanted to say something like, I think it rained yesterday, or maybe, I think he was a student? Expressing what you think happened in the past? It's a super common thing to do. So today, we're going to dive into a really simple but powerful piece of Japanese grammar that lets you share your thoughts and guesses about past events with ease.
Here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with the why you need this. Then we'll get into the core rule, show you exactly how to build the phrase, look at it in action with some examples, and then we'll wrap up with a quick recap and a chance for you to practice. All right, let's jump right in. All right, first up, thoughts about the past. This is really all about expressing a bit of uncertainty. Instead of stating something that happened as a cold, hard fact, you're sharing your opinion or your memory or maybe just your best guess about it.
So this is the fundamental question we're answering today. It's pretty easy to talk about what you think will happen in the future, right? But how do you talk about what you think already happened? That's the exact communication gap that this grammar point fills so perfectly.
Okay, that brings us to the core rule. Now for the mechanics of it. Japanese grammar can sometimes feel a little intimidating, but trust me, the rule for this is surprisingly straightforward and really consistent, which is great.
So the structure is beautifully simple. You take the past tense of a word's short form, you might also hear it called the plain form, and you just add to omoimasu, which means I think. The logic here is actually very direct. It's like you're putting the whole first part of the sentence in quotes, and then saying, I think. So you're literally saying, the thought that something happened, I think. It's a really common and logical pattern in Japanese.
And here's one of the best things about this structure. It's flexibility. The rule works the exact same way whether your thought is positive, like I think it happened, or negative, I think it didn't happen. No special changes needed.
So let's get practical. Section 3 is all about how to actually build this. Knowing the rule is one thing, but applying it is where the magic happens. Let's walk through the exact steps to put this structure together correctly.
It really is just a simple two-step process. First, you take whatever word you're focusing on, whether it's a verb, an adjective, or a noun, and you just change it into its past plain form. Then, once you have that, you literally just tack on to omoimasu to the end. That's it. You're done.
This table here shows you exactly how this works for different kinds of words. So for a verb, like to eat, the past short form is tabeta. For an I adjective, like cold, it becomes samukatta. And for na adjectives and nouns, you'll use datta for the positive past, like in shizukabatta, and janakatta for the negative, like in gakusei janakatta.
All right, so theory is helpful, but seeing this grammar in full, real sentences is what really makes it all click. So let's look at a few examples of it in action.
Here's our first one. You can see the two parts so clearly here. We have tabeta, which is the past short form of to eat, and it's followed directly by to omoimasu. To ate the cake, I think. It's a perfectly natural sentence.
Now this one shows us a negative. The word for busy is isogashi. Its negative past short form is isogashiku nakatta. We just add our phrase, to omoimasu, to the end and we get, I think yesterday wasn't very busy. Simple, clean, and effective. And one more for good measure, this time with a positive I adjective. Samui means cold. The past short form is samukatta. So putting it together, samukatta to omoimasu means I think it was cold. You're just expressing your memory or opinion about last winter. See the pattern?
Okay. We've gone over the rule, we've looked at the examples, now let's just do a quick review of the main points to really lock it all in.
So, here are the key takeaways. First, remember to use this when you're stating your thoughts or guesses about something that already happened. The biggest rule of all is that the word right before to omoi must be in its past short form, and this applies across the board, to verbs, nouns, and both I and na adjectives. And finally, don't forget it works for both positive and negative statements.
All right, now it's your turn to practice. Think about something you did yesterday. How would you say that as a thought or a memory using this grammar? I think I watched a movie, or I think I went for a walk. Seriously, just taking a moment to form your own sentence is the absolute best way to make this knowledge stick. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.